What's up, racing fans? This is Keith with Each and Every Stride, and welcome to Spin Nation's Top 10 Most Likely Breeders' Cup Winners. That's right, I have the man here on screen, Sean Patrick Nolan. We're going to go over his 10 most likely winners come Breeders' Cup time next weekend. They just had the entries today, so you could tell I'm excited. How you feeling today, Sean?
Oh man, I'm pumped. I'm pumped. When those entries come out, the reality sets in, the excitement sets in. This could be one of the best Breeders' Cups in a very long time, and I couldn't be more excited. This is 2 days of action-packed racing. It's going to be fun.
I totally agree. I mean, we were actually just talking backstage about the pre-entries here that just came out. I mean, these fields are stacked, so I
Oh,
look forward to hearing
oh,
Sean's opinions here. I'll throw a couple in there myself.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
Sean is putting out 10 horses that he feels are actually have a legit shot, good chance to get into the winner's circle.
yep,
So appreciate you following along with us here. So yeah, I mean it's amazing, right? I mean November 1st and November 2nd, so it's a full weekend
oh,
at Del Mar. So
can't wait.
beautiful
10
event,
days
right?
away. Unbelievable. No, nine for the future stars and 10 for the real. It's unbelievable. It's getting close. Love it.
Love it. I mean, huge weekend of racing. A lot of connections are already in town at Del Mar. So let's get
Yeah,
right into it. I'm
go.
interested to hear Sean's opinions and let us know who you like too in the comments. So as you see here, this is Spin Nation's top 10 most likely Breeders' Cup winners. I know the man's going to be making a case here for a lot of these horses. Intriguing races. And if you're right on these kind of horses, I mean, you're still going to get paid with these pools.
Oh, absolutely. So exciting.
So let's get right into it. It's going to be number 10. So we're going to go 10 to 1. So number 10 for Sean is going to be Straight No Chaser. Been
Yeah.
stationed a lot in California in the dirt sprint. And what makes you intrigued by this horse?
Dan Blacker has done an amazing job for this horse all the my racehorse fans out there. I know they're very, very excited about this guy. You watch his last race, man. He just pulled away. Like he has this incredible second gear that I don't think anyone else in this field has. And he was just ridden perfectly. It'll be interesting to see as he gets into this race when he gets out in the front, he just is absolutely as brave as I mean, the fractions that he runs, even when like earlier in Maryland earlier this year, he was ridiculously fast and just wasn't stopping at all. And when you look at this field, there's some talent in this field, but I just don't see. And he's on his home track, which is Del Mar, and he's a California horse. He knows that track, knows it well. Dan Blacker, I think, is smartly brought him along purposely for this race, and I think he's going to run the race of his life, and everybody's just going to be watching his backside at the line. Love this horse.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, Sean. I mean, this horse had the best lifetime speed figure to date, in the Santa Anita Sprint. It was actually a 119 Equibase speed figure. And now I agree. I mean, like I was just saying, stationed in California, while a lot of these horses have to ship around the world, and the my racehorse factor too that you just touched on. So
Oh
I
yeah,
agree, Sean. That's a great number 10 selection there.
this will be a Breeders' Cup record for the most people in the winner's circle ever at a Breeders' Cup race because they will break it for sure. We saw that at Parks.
Unbelievable. Yeah, that was just to see that in person was visually so exciting. I wasn't there. Maybe, one day we'll be there in the winner's circle for real, but this is, just talking these horses with you and everybody watching. We're in the winner's circle right now, right?
I love it. Yeah, can't beat it, but
Awesome. So, yeah, that's number 10 for, Spin Nation there. So we're going to go into number 9 here for Sean.
there's my girl, Torpedo Anna. Exactly. I would have her higher on this list. I probably should have her higher, but I have so much respect for Idiomatic, yeah, and her amazing, and also the Japanese entrant Velva will be quite an interesting horse to see how she takes the training at the track. Her name will be mentioned much more as we get closer and closer. Usually, this is not a move of mine. 3-year-olds usually do not do well versus the older mares. I remember a couple of years ago, everyone thought Nest was going to be an absolute lock versus her group. She finished third or fourth, right? She just couldn't. The older mares, for some reason, have that seasoning that the 3-year-olds just don't have. But then you get Thorpedo Anna. This girl is, I mean, to think she won at Parks, not even fully cranked, and she still won. This horse just doesn't like to lose, and it doesn't like to win just by a nose. You know what I'm saying? She will be fully cranked. At Saratoga, she's looking amazing. Her 74-year-old exercise rider, what a story. You know, and they just the confidence they have in her. I think she's different. I think she will love that Del Mar track, and I think she'll eat it up, and I think she's going to win.
I mean, you bring up so many great points there, Sean, and yeah, we saw it in person. The Parks Derby day. I mean, she didn't have the greatest trip and overcame that. And these horses, like you just mentioned, I mean, sometimes they don't like the park surface too. So working out really well. I think she's a star, and for me, possible single there come the huge weekend. So great points there. I mean, this is going to be really interesting how this all unfolds for horses of the year too and everything.
Yeah, and there's rumor that she may not even run it for. So I mean, if that is the case, they're going to leave it all on the line at Del Mar, which means and Brian Hernandez, is going to be trying so hard with his special filly.
Yeah, I totally agree. He's going to be big menace to deal with there. So that's number 9 on Spin Nation's top 10 most likely Breeders' Cup winners. So let's go to number 8 here. We got a familiar horse that you've always followed.
Yep, my girl Vahva. Yep, exactly. And she's been unbelievable. Johnny's done a great job with her throughout and what's really cool about her, even watching that third place at Saratoga, she didn't run her best race, but she was still right there at the end, even not running her best race. And the race at Churchill with a 107 was just absolutely gigantic. This group is a very talented group, and I don't think she overlays this group, but I think Sherry DeVoe has had such a great year. She's really, really she knows how to get her animals ready for the big races. And I think Vahva is sitting on a very big race. She's coming off that Saratoga race, and I think she's going to be really tough in this spot.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's just a lot of back class there. I know the slight disappointment, right, in the ballerina, finishing third to Society. So, I was wrong about that race. Now, I think that, Sherry DeVoe with Irad aboard, I think that, if it goes back to those previous races, I mean, she's the class of the field in this filly and mare sprint. So I know you're onto something there. It's going to be such an interesting race.
With Irad, whether it's been Irad, Johnny, whoever's ridden her, I mean, is that if Irad big day, I'm still going with him, especially in those sprints.
For sure. Yeah, get those horses out in a great position and, let them work from there. So Interesting race there. I like that pick a lot, number 8. This is for Sean's most likely winners at the Breeders' Cup weekend.
Yep.
So we have a horse that I had to do a little bit more research on. I think you're probably a little bit more familiar than me. This is Diego Velasquez in the mile turf.
Yeah, you could go. I mean, we could spend an hour and a half in this race alone. You know what I'm saying? That's why we're kind of compacting it tonight, just for our picks. But Diego Velasquez was supposed to run at Saratoga. Some people may not remember this, but they got rained off. And that was the weekend when Aidan O'Brien said, no more Saratoga. Both of his horses got rained out. And poor Ryan Moore had to go an entire weekend in Saratoga without one mount. Exactly. But and I wonder if that threw him off a little bit going back to Europe. But you look at his last 2 races at Leopardstown, the Diego Velasquez that we were expecting at Saratoga came back. And he's very impressive. And I think if he didn't think this horse was here for the taking, he wouldn't bring him. The Europeans have dominated. Was 80% of the wins at Del Mar have been by European horses? I just think this guy is going to be ready. And if Ryan, who's better than Ryan? I mean, this horse would be a monster versus this group.
I agree. I think that's a great call. I mean, for me, it's a horse that's really the last two races looking to win three in a row, and for these strong connections that you just mentioned, and the big pedigree of Frankel. So I mean, that's something that these horses can really jump up in this mile distance. So I think that's a great pick there. I think it's a very talented field. I'm looking at the
Oh,
entries
Carl
over here.
Spackler. I mean,
I
you
mean,
got a
you
lot
got
of some of the Europeans that are coming are very talented, but I just think Aiden is the big race man who knows what he's doing, and this horse will be cranked. Yeah, and that's why I just love the connections. I love everything about this horse.
Gotta love it. So, I mean, exciting racing, and that's number 7 there for Spin Nation. Let's go to a horse that we're very familiar with. I've only seen race one time here in the States, but this
Yeah,
is an intriguing horse in the Classic, Forever Young.
yeah. I still maintain to this day if Sierra Leone doesn't bump him down the stretch, we're not talking about Wise Dan. You know, not Wise Dan. Um, Kenny McPeak's horse. Why
Yeah,
am I
Mystic
blanking?
Den. There you go.
Sorry,
There you
I
go. He'll
was
get there
a
with it.
Wise
Yeah.
Dan fan. I always get that. Yeah, but Mystic Dan does. We're not even talking about Mystic Dan. We're talking about forever possibly staying for the whole Triple Crown. But they took him back. You watch his last race on the second. Couldn't have been more impressive. I mean, just he won with the absolute ease of this. Looks just like a horse that is just going to be one powerhouse. His trainer was undefeated in America until that race, and he knows how to win over here. He knows how to get him ready. I think he won 2 at the last Del Mar. This horse, to me, just stands out above everybody. Now, City of Troy is a wild card. There's so many wild cards, even the long shot that my friend might be talking about later. But anything that there's a lot of horses in this race. Obviously, if they run their big race, they can. But I just think this guy is really just primed for this one race, and I think he's going to run huge.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think I've at first I was trying to, really kind of go against this horse, but the more I kind of dug in with Forever Young, he's in my. I have 4 horses total that I'm kind of zeroing in on in the Classic, and he's right
Yep.
there. I mean, that was an impressive win. I know it's a different surface at the Japan Derby. I like his versatile running style in this kind of Classic. So that's something that Forever Young, and you saw that with the Gutty, as you just mentioned, the third place effort there in the Derby. So this horse looked like he shipped well. I saw some highlights of a lot of the Japanese contingent and everybody
Yep.
shipping well. So I think gonna fire a big one for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, so we got number 5 for Immersive here for Sean. Tell us about this horse, a young horse here.
Yeah, Cox and Godolphin. I mean, this horse couldn't have been more impressive in the juvenile at Kentucky. She just took the lead. They tried to run it out, but you could just tell he had her in second gear. She wasn't even and she just impressively went over the line. I think Brad has done an amazing job with this filly. I think he's got the perfect combination. I mean, you could just tell she's just pure runner. And she just loves winning. There's just special fillies where you just say this could be one of those next really special Godolphin fillies, and they haven't beaten her yet, and I don't think they're going to beat her on the big day either. She's that good.
I agree. I mean, it's what an impressive, perfect 3 for 3. Already a Grade 1 winner. I mean, that's
Yeah,
just
already. Yep, yep.
amazing, right? At age 2. So going into this weekend, already a Grade 1 winner. Usually that's a tall feat there.
Oh yeah,
And
and just the way she did
yeah.
it was so easy. Yep.
Oh yeah, I remember the race call and horse racing Twitter kind of blowing up after that. So
Oh,
yeah, it
she could
was
have won that race by
yeah,
8. I really believe
right.
she could have won that race by 8 if she wanted to. Just he did everything perfect to let her win and save something for the West Coast, and she's going to be awful tough.
I agree. Yeah, right back to the work tab. Nice easy works. So I like that a lot. So yeah, this is Sean's top 10 most likely winners for the Breeders' Cup. So these are the horses that he's kind of zeroing in on. And I know this next horse we're all familiar with here.
National treasure. Yep. Bobby Baffert has struggled in the past couple of years, in the Breeders' Cup, especially at Del Mar. He didn't have one win in either of the last two that have been in California. But people forget it took Cody's wish to hold off National Treasure to win the. And we all remember when National Treasure claimed on Cody. But I'm saying, but that's what it took. A horse of Cody Wish's stature to beat this horse. I don't think there's anybody. I mean, obviously we saw Seize the Gray, great story for my horse, and like all those horses, great horses. This guy loves the mile. He loves California. He came east. We all knew he hated the slop. Throw that race completely out. That's 2 times he's run at Saratoga in the slop. Hated it both. Bob's going to have this horse ready, and I think he's just flat out better than everybody in his field.
Yeah, I mean, it's we were there also live at the Whitney, and it was just a horse didn't like the distance, that situation that day.
Hated the slop. Wanted no part of it.
Exactly. And then comes back in the California Crown, which was a big success, and came, second place. It was a game second. So this is another horse that seems, I know he's got a lot of big wins.
And a mile and 8, he got caught. This is a mile. You know what I'm saying? Right. So he's going right back to his wheelhouse. And I think that less than an eighth of a mile is going to be exactly what he needs, and they're not going to catch him.
I love it. Yeah, I mean, it's this horse has a lot of big wins on his resume, the Preakness and the Pegasus. So I think also this horse likes to show up big on race days too.
He does, no doubt, especially on fast tracks. Yep.
Good point. All right, so we got number 3 here. It's these are the top 10 for Sean. It's number 3 Cogburn in the Turf Sprint. I think this horse is very interesting, and tell us why, Sean.
Oh my God. This horse, remember, Asmussen was doing terrible at Kentucky Downs. He had lost how many in a row or whatever. Exactly. And then remember the Breeders' Cup, that the horses that have run at Kentucky Downs, that have run the Breeders' Cup, are 0 for 52. I didn't think this horse would even like the hill at Kentucky Downs. And not only did he beat the field, he blew them out. Like it wasn't even like they were standing still. You could run this horse on the moon and he'd have a 10. The speed he has is just ungodly. It's amazing. Steve's got this horse going. I think he's the fastest animal possible in the world in terms of it. I just don't see anybody, including the Europeans. He's so fast. And when you have a horse like an English Channel, I know English Channel was longer distance, but he had that speed that no one could catch. You need that special thing to go up against the Europeans. This horse has it. I think he could run on the moon. He wins the sprint. Going away, the Kentucky Downs curse finally broken by Cogburn and Irad and Steve Asmussen.
I love it. What an angle there, Sean, and break the curse. And I mean, you don't see these kind of horses, right? For Steve Asmussen, these turf sprinters on the big stakes day. Right. Yeah, so that's a telling sign there. I mean, perfect 3 for 3. And, I think it'll translate to California. It's never run in California before. But, for me, Cogburn, I mean, I'm looking at the field. We have a lot of horses coming from Ireland and Britain. It's going to be a great race.
Oh, yeah, but they've never seen this speed, which is just amazing,
All right, so that leads us to number 2. So we're getting there for Sean's top 10 horses for Breeders' Cup. Likely winners. Number 2, East Avenue in the Juvenile. Tell us what you like about East Avenue.
Oh, my God. Could he have been any more impressive at Keeneland? I mean, Machado did an amazing job the first time he ran, and he ran very impressively. But I said, I don't know if he can beat this group. Not only did he beat them, he just destroyed them. And Brendan Walsh, from day one, this is like, I call him as Maxfield Jr. You know what I'm saying? This is like the horse that Brendan always thought was going to be an extreme talent. And when Tyler rode him, I hope that, and Tyler said, you're right back on him again. This horse was so impressive. And as they say about the California horses last year, everyone loved Move. Fierceness gave him his head by 6.5 lengths. All the California horses are doing are running against each other. So I don't really know how good they are. You know what I'm saying? So, but this horse showed at Keeneland just how good he is, and I think that form is going to transfer right over to Del Mar, and they're not going to catch him.
Yeah, I mean, for me, exactly. I mean, really impressive winner there of the Claiborne, and these speed figures, you got to love that, right? When they
Oh,
increase the second start
yeah,
substantially, the speed figure went up.
yep, yep,
So
absolutely.
yeah, man. So it's comes back with the nice, easy workouts. I like that. And this is, it's sometimes it's Godolphin, maybe could be on the rise up again. I'm not saying they went all the way down, but this is a big time prospect for Godolphin.
Yeah, just this is the I call him Maxfield Jr. They didn't get the he didn't get to run last time in California. Maxfield didn't, but East Avenue will have his stable mates back and take care of business.
Gotta love it. So, all right, folks. So this is the big moment we've been all waiting for. This is the number one, top 10 for Sean Patrick Nolan's, likely winners for the Breeders' Cup weekend. Drum roll, please. Rebels Romance.
Rebels Romance, yes, in the turf, yes. This I will say this absolutely wholeheartedly. Charlie Appleby, if he wins this race and loses all the rest, it will be a successful weekend for him. I think his whole eggs in the basket are in with this horse, Rebels Romance. I think this is the best turf horse in the world right now. I mean, I know you have some other people going to the Japan Cup, and there's some talent that could make a dent here too. But I just think this horse, you take that third out at Ascot, and this horse has been nothing but absolute perfection. And that wasn't even a bad third that he ran. So this horse is just. I think this is Charlie Appleby's creme de la creme. I think he's coming to win this race. William Bick knows his horse better than anybody, and I think he just absolutely wins this race going away. This is the horse. Even when Charlie was over there in Europe, the first horse he said was Rebels Romance. It's the first horse on his mind. It's the last, kind of like Master of the Seas was when he was young. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the horse I have to win with, and I think this horse is going to show the turf field, and a very talented turf field in that way, that he's just the best in the world.
You nailed it on the head there, Sean. I mean, this is a horse that's been all over the world, can do it anywhere, and 6-year-old gelding, right? I mean, it's just incredible.
Remarkable.
21 career starts for
Yep.
Godolphin. So, I mean, just what an impressive runner here on the turf. So, I'd love to see it. I just thought it was a, fitting picture right there too, right? Right in the winner's circle. So, it's
Oh
going to be
yeah.
such an intriguing race. And gotta love these horses, these hard knocking horses at
Oh,
the end of the
love it.
6-year-old campaign, all around the world winning. So good luck to you and all these connections here for you, Sean. And we just want to thank Sean, you could say it too, is thank you
Yeah,
for
thank you to
watching.
everybody for
Yeah.
watching this. Yeah, and let us know who you like. Obviously, the great thing about horse racing is that these are just my opinions, but you let us know who you like. And before we end, I'm going to be a little bit host here with Keith. Keith, why don't you give us a long shot pick in the Breeders' Cup that maybe that it could sneak under the wire, that people that could win the whole thing?
Ooh, yeah, you're speaking my recipe here. I like my long shots. I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly. You are the value pick man.
thank you, my man. I mean, for me, it's a horse that you actually liked as a 3-year-old. You still
Yep.
love this horse. This is a horse that's kind of figured it out a little bit, as a 4-year-old now. Is Tapit Trice, in the
Yep.
classic,
Yep. Todd. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
yeah,
Yep.
it was announced the other day too. I could have swore I saw a tweet saying that Irad Ortiz is announced on Tapit Trice.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, who's bigger in big races than Irad? Yeah. And
Right.
yeah, exactly. If he can put that Monmouth and that Belmont, it'll be interesting in the West Coast, see how he takes to that track. The training will be interesting to see how he takes over that track. But if you're looking for a price, man, he's big. Exactly. He could be the interesting piece in the puzzle for sure.
I agree. I mean, it's a horse that, still has some breaking issues right out of the
Yeah.
gate, but it seems like he's kind of overcome the middle move, like the middle of the race. He's much closer at one
Yep.
move from the back because you're. I don't think you're going to win like that in the classic
No, no. His
unless it's
old
a pace
style
collapse.
Tampa Bay
Right,
Derby. No, he has no
not
chance.
happening.
Heck. No, but
Yeah, he's
he's
different. He's a
matured.
different horse now.
Yeah, he is exactly. And if he can rate, and Irad can have him in a good spot, he has just as good
Mm.
a chance as anybody. He's older, and that definitely is in his favor for a long shot.
Yeah, I'll definitely be looking at Tapit Trice and the betting board. I love how he's entered there in the classic, and yeah, maybe I'll flip the script on you, Sean, and maybe you'll give me a price horse for the people as we get going
Yeah,
here.
look,
But yeah, let me know.
yeah, this is not going to shock anybody, but as you know, I'm a huge Canadian racing fan, and in the Breeders' Cup Fillies turf, we got our girl Moira, the Queen's Plate, the last Queen's Plate winner of the. And think about that one for a second.
Yeah, I had to
She's
say
just
that three
been
times. Yeah,
incredible, solid. I mean, her race at Belmont when no one was closing, she came in second at even up in Woodbine. She ran a very decent race coming closing. That'll be a perfect setup for her coming into the Breeders' Cup. She's just a very talented horse. Kevin Attard's done an amazing job with her, and I think last year she was there. She came flying. She was right behind the Europeans, so she's not going to be afraid of them. So I think she's going to be a great value pick and a loaded. That race is loaded. You got Cinderella's Dream, all those people, but Moira, my girl's going to be right there. Can't wait to see her.
I love it. I mean, it's a great pick. It's I know you're a Woodbine guy, and it's just a horse that just you have a heavy heart for, right? Just always followed
Yeah,
Moira. Could run anywhere in the game. In the Breeders' Cup last year, and then I watched her win that very close race at Colonial Downs too.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
it's a horse that I've always rooted for, and factors to be in the money, and at least could upset the apple cart too.
And she's really matured too. Versus when she was 3, she was kicking bushes up at Woodbine, and now she's a pure racehorse. So it makes her even more dangerous, which I think is wonderful. Kevin's done an amazing job with her.
Well, that's it, folks. I mean, you heard it
Yeah,
from the man
thanks
himself.
everybody.
Appreciate it. And yeah, any final thoughts here, Sean? I mean, we're so excited for the Breeders' Cup. Thank you for letting me, be part of this, having, hosting this. And yeah, any final thoughts for the people here, on Trust the Profits?
Yeah, no, thank you to everybody. Can't wait for the Breeders' Cup. Let us know who you like in these races. These are just my opinions. What do you call this? What makes racing great is that no one has ever. If everyone thought the same thing, we'd all be 1-9. But this is a loaded field, and can't wait to see who you guys like, because that can help me just as much as I can try to help you. So, thank you to everybody, and appreciate your time. And thank you, Keith,
That's
most important for hosting. Exactly.
anytime there, Sean. I appreciate it. And yeah, thank everybody. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate the support. And let's keep cashing these tickets and keep it moving. Take care now.